How are you doing, folks? This is the Pop Music Freak. I am back with another Song Facts Countdown video. Counting down my top 1,000 favorite songs of all time. We are up to number 858. It is another one by the Fab Four. Another number one record, this time from 1966. It was the song Paperback Writer. Alright, let me give you the information on Paperback Writer. It's a song by the English rock band The Beatles, written primarily by Paul McCartney and credited to the Lennon-McCartney partnership. The song was released as the A-side of their 11th single in May 1966. It topped the singles charts in the UK, the US, Ireland, West Germany, Australia, New Zealand, and Norway. On the US Billboard Hot 100, the song was at number one for two non-consecutive weeks, being interrupted by Frank Sinatra's Strangers in the Night. Paperback Writer was the last new song by the Beatles to be featured on their final tour in 1966. If you want to know when the song was recorded, it was started on April 13th, 1966 and completed by the 14th of April, 1966 and was released just a month later. So it was kind of rushed. They're on a tight schedule, as people know. With all their volume and all their output, they had a quick turnaround on a lot of their music. Here's the background and inspiration on the song. Paperback Writer was written largely by Paul McCartney, who based the lyrics on a challenge made to him by his Aunt Lil. McCartney said in 1966, "Years ago, my Auntie Lil said to me, 'Why do you always write songs about love all the time? Can't you ever write about a horse or the Summit Conference or something interesting?' So I thought, all right, Auntie Lil." According to Radio Luxembourg DJ Jimmy Savile's recollection, is that the same guy? Never mind. The inspiration for the song came backstage at a concert venue when McCartney, mindful of his aunt's request, saw Ringo Starr reading a book and declared his intention to write a song about a book. Alright, sorry, I had to sneeze. I had to pause it for a few seconds. The lyrics are in the form of a letter from an aspiring author addressed to a publisher. McCartney completed the song with John Lennon in response to pressure from EMI for a new Beatles single in April 1966, early on in the sessions for the band's Revolver album. Intrigued by the rhythmic possibilities of the phrase Paperback Writer, McCartney came up with the framework for the song during his hour-long drive from London to Lennon's house in Surrey. Discussing Paperback Writer with Alan Smith of the NME that year, McCartney recalled that he and Lennon wrote the lyrics in the form of a letter beginning with "Dear Sir or Madam," but then the song was not inspired by any real-life characters. However, according to a 2007 piece in The New Yorker, McCartney said he started writing the song in 1965 after reading in the Daily Mail about an inspiring author, possibly Martin Amis, who would have been a teenager at the time. The Daily Mail was Lennon's regular newspaper, and copies were in Lennon's Weybridge home when Lennon and McCartney were writing songs. Aside from deviating from the subject of love, McCartney had it in mind to write a song with a melody backed by a single static chord. John and I would like to do songs with just one note, like Long Tall Sally, and we got near it in The Word. McCartney claimed to have barely failed to achieve his goal of Paperback Writer, as the verse remains on G until the end, at which point it pauses on C. Lennon told Hit Parader in 1972 that Paperback Writer was written primarily by McCartney. "I think I might have helped with some of the lyrics, yes I did, but it was mainly Paul's tune." Speaking in 1980, Lennon described Paperback Writer as "Son of Day Tripper," meaning a rock and roll song with a guitar lick on a fuzzy loud guitar, but it is Paul's song. Recording. Beatles recorded Paperback Writer at EMI Studios in London on April 13th and 14th, 1966. The April 14th session was attended by a photographer from Beatles Monthly, while EMI engineer Phil McDonald's handwritten notes similarly documented the band's experimentation with overdubs on the basic track. In the search for a suitable arrangement, George Harrison briefly switched to bass guitar, and producer George Martin contributed on tack piano, sent through a Leslie speaker, and on Vox Continental organ, neither of which were retained in the completed track. Paperback Writer is marked by the boosted bass guitar sound, which is partly in response to Lennon demanding to know why the bass on a certain Wilson Pickett record exceeded that on any Beatles records. Jeff Emmerich, who had been promoted to the role of the Beatles' recording engineer for Revolver, later said Paperback Writer was the first time the bass sound had been heard in all its excitement. Paul played a different bass, a Rickenbacker. Then we boosted it further by using a loudspeaker as a microphone. We positioned it directly in front of the bass speaker, and the moving diaphragm of the second speaker made the electric current. McCartney's playing was also more melodic and busy than on previous tracks. According to McCartney, the harmony vocals on the track were arranged during the recording session. Martin later commented, "The way the song itself is shaped and the slow contrapunto statements from the backing voices, no one really had done that before." In their backing vocals over the third verse, Lennon and Harrison sing the title of the French nursery rhyme Frères Jacques. Emmerich stated that the Paperback Writer Rain single was cut louder than any other Beatles record up to that time, due to a new piece of equipment used in the mastering process, referred to as automatic transient overload control, which was devised by the EMI maintenance department. As for promotions, in Britain, the single was promoted with a photograph depicting the Beatles draped in pieces of raw meat and decapitated baby dolls. Lovely. This photograph was lately used, albeit briefly, as the Yesterday and Today album cover in the US, and in that capacity it became known as the Butcher cover. For the American release of the single, the picture sleeve showed the Beatles playing live, but with Lennon and Harrison's images reflected so that it appeared as if they were playing left-handed. Michael Lindsay Hogue directed 4 promotional films for the song, shot on May 19th and 20th of 1966. On the first day, they recorded a color performance at EMI Studios for the Ed Sullivan Show, which was shown on June 5th, and 2 black and white performance clips for British television. The latter aired on Ready, Steady, Go and Thank You Lucky Stars on June 3rd and 25th, respectively. The Beatles also filmed a personal introduction to Ed Sullivan with their faces hidden behind color transparencies of the Butcher cover. On May 20th, the second color film was made at Chiswick House in West London. The Beatles mimed to the song as they were known, shown in a statue garden inside the conservatory, in the grounds of the house. The clip was first broadcast in black and white on BBC TV's Top of the Pops on June the 2nd. The May 20th promo clip was included in the Beatles' 2015 video compilation 1, and both the May 19th color film and the May 20th film were included in the 3-disc versions of the compilation titled 1+. The Beatles appeared on Top of the Pops to mime to the Paperback Writer and Rain on June 16th. This television appearance, which was the Beatles' only in-person appearance on the BBC's flagship pop music show of the era, was subsequently lost due to the BBC's habit of wiping expensive videotape for reuse, leading to efforts by the corporation to find an original copy. In 2019, a collector unearthed 11 seconds of the performance. A longer 92 seconds worth was found later in the year. Release and reception. Paperback Writer was issued as a single in the U.S. by Capitol Records on May 30th, 1966, with Rain on the B-side. In the UK, it was released June 10th. It was the Beatles' first UK single since Day Tripper, We Can Work It Out, AA side, in December of 65. What else can we say? In the U.S., the Paperback Writer topped the Hot 100 for 2 non-consecutive weeks. It knocked the Rolling Stones' Painted Black out of number 1, and then was deposed by Frank Sinatra's Strangers in the Night for 1 week, and then returned to number 1 the following week. Song's release coincided with London being feted by the U.S. media as the swinging city of international culture. In his book on the 1960s, social historian Arthur Marwick says the Beatles represented a popular image of a phenomenon in which invisible swaths of British society became visible and assertive. And Paperback Writer was a song that best conveyed the new class-defying tide of individualistic enterprise. Paperback Writer was the only new song Beatles added on the 1966 tour set list. Their inability to reproduce the layered vocal effect of the studio recording was a source of embarrassment for the group. However, in addition to molding their characters and sound on the Beatles, the Monkees used Paperback Writer as the basis for their debut single, Last Train to Clarksville. So, there is some dispute over who played on Paperback Writer in the studio. McCartney stated that he played the song's opening riff on his Epiphone Casino guitar, and photos of the recording session seem to be consistent with this. In the 2005 edition of his book Revolution in the Head, Ian MacDonald gives Harrison as the sole lead guitarist, and Kenneth Womack similarly lists McCartney only on bass and lead vocal. Now, officially, Robert Rodriguez and Walter Everett have come up with this lineup. It said Paul McCartney was lead guitar, lead vocal, lead guitar riff, and bass. John Lennon was backing vocal and tambourine. George Harrison backing vocal, rhythm guitar, and lead guitar fills. And Ringo Starr on drums. Okay, so weekly charts. We'll go over where it hit number 1. Australia, Canada, Ireland, the Netherlands, Norway, Sweden, the UK, and the US on Billboard and Cashbox. Also West Germany. On the year-end chart, it ranked number 28 on the Billboard Hot 100. Hits of the year 1966. In Cashbox, it ranked number 43 for the year. And in the USA, it was certified gold for 1 million copies sold. All right, so those are the song facts on Paperback Writer by the Beatles. Song number 858 on my list. As I've said, the Beatles have 31 songs on my top 1,000 list, so you will be hearing quite a bit more from them as we go through this wonderful countdown. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this video. I am going to post a link to one of their videos. We'll see. I got to choose in the description. And then I hope you like the video. I hope you share it. I hope you subscribe to the channel as well. And I hope you hit the bell to notify you when the next video is going to be released through YouTube. Okay? So thank you again very much. I wish you all a wonderful day. Peace and love.